everybody. Good morning. Happy Sunday. Happy Feast of Pentecost. I hope you're all doing well. We're just going to do a couple sections here with adjectives, and then I think another declension of nouns. Yep. So that should be fun. So we've been in the third declension, which is the most important declension, and it's also the only other group of adjectives. So adjectives are either of the first and second declension. First and second is what we've been doing. Bonas, and then the adjectives follow the patterns like the first and second declension nouns. First declension for feminine forms of the adjective. Second declension masculine for masculine forms of the adjective. Second declension neuter for neuter forms of the adjectives. So, nearly all third adjective. Okay, or they're like third declension. Nearly all adjectives of the third declension have I stems, and they are declined almost like nouns with I stems. Okay, that's not complicated. I better put up my live notification. Scratch, scratch, scratch. Okay. And the live. Okay. So adjectives learned thus far have the first and second declension endings, and they all have a different form for each gender. Bonas, those are called adjectives of three endings, or three terminations sometimes. Adjectives of the third declension either have three terminations, a different form in the nominative for each gender, two terminations, masculine and feminine look the same, neuter looks different, or one termination. So all the nominatives look the same. Whatever happens with the nominative, as per usual in the third declension, it just kind of does its own thing. Blank is E, M, or blank A. But having some I stem things means it's not going to be just like the nouns. It's mostly going to be like the I stem. So let's have a look. Adjectives of the third declension that have an ER have three endings. Those in IS have two endings, and the others have one ending. Okay, so let's get a look at it. So here's acur, acris, acre, keen, eager. Three different forms. The first one is masculine nominative, second feminine nominative, third neuter nominative. ACR is going to be the base that we use in the rest of the forms. And they go blank, so whatever's going on in the nominative, is, E, M, or blank, E. So again, it's working like an I stem. It has a long I in the ablative singular. And then ace, eum, ebus, ace, ebus, or ea, eum, ebus, ea, ebus. So all the I stem things happen in the adjectives. All right. Some adjectives only have two terminations, like omnis, omne, all, every. So omnis in the masculine and feminine nominative, omne in the neuter nominative, but then blank is, e, m, or blank e, s, ea, eum, ebus, s, ea, ebus. Right? The endings that we know. And again, omnibus, for all, is where we get the word bus, because buses are omnibuses. That is the full word for bus. And then there are some that look all the same in the nominative. For example, par, equal. Par, paris would be what you would see in the dictionary. So par in masculine, feminine nominative and neuter nominative. But then it's all the same. Is e m or blank e, s ea eum ebus, s ea ebus. So all I stem adjectives have the long I in the ablative singular. The cases of the adjective of one ending. Excuse me. The cases of adjectives of one ending have the same form for all genders, excepting in the accusative singular and nominative and accusative plural. Right? If the neuter, masculine, and feminine all look the same, there's only 3 forms where they're different. There are a few adjectives of one ending that have consonant stems. They are decline-like nouns with consonant stem. That's just like a little side note. We're not even going to worry about that. We're going to read the story about the Romans invading the enemy's country. But I'm going to take a drink first because I got dry air or something tickling my throat. Right. The Romans invade the enemy's country. Olim pedites Romani cum equitibus velocibus in hostium urbem iter faciebant. Ubi non longe affuerant, rapuerant agricolam, qui eis viam brevem et facilam demonstravit. Iam Romani moenia alta, turis validas aliaque opera urbis videre poterant. In moenibus stabant multi principes. Principes ubi viderunt Romanos, userant civis lapides aliaque tela de murdis iacere. Tum milites fortes contineri a proelio non poterant, et acer imperator signum tuba dari usit. Summa vi omnes maturaverunt. Imperator sexto legato impedimenta omnia mandavit. Sextus impedimenta in sumo cole conlocavit. Corave et acre erat proelium, sed hostes non pares Romanis erant. Sorry. Alii interfecti, alii capti sunt. Apud captivos erant mater sororque regis, haci Romanorum ab hostibus vulnerati sunt. Secundum proelium Romanis erat gratum, fortuna fortibus semper favet. All right. I guess I should move this down a smidge. It's a little cut off by my camera there. All right. So, once upon a time, Olim, the Roman foot soldiers, along with the swift cavalry, Punch isn't awake to make fun of me. They were making a journey, faciebant iter, into the city of the enemy, or towards the city of the enemy. But they are using in here and not odd, so do with that what you will. When they were not far away, they captured a farmer who pointed out to them a swift and easy road. Short and easy. Now, the Romans were able to see the high walls, the strong turrets, and the other works of the city. Okay, good. Many leaders, principes, were standing on the walls. The leaders, when they saw the Romans, they ordered the citizens to throw rocks and other weapons from the walls. Okay, that all makes sense. Then the strong soldiers were not able to be held by the battle. There's an expression there that I'm not quite getting. Let me see. Conteneri a proileo. Yeah, yeah, it might just mean they weren't able to be held back from battle, aka they had to go fight. Let me just see if there's some sort of expression I'm missing. But that seems to make sense. Conteneri. To be. To hold in position. To hold back. Okay, yeah. Seems to be it. All right. So they weren't able to be held back from battle, and the sharp leader ordered the sign to be given from the horn, tuba. All of them hastened with greatest strength, sumawi. The leader, Predator, Mandawit, like organized. It means to command, to order. I'm just trying to think of what's the best way of translating it here. Mandawit. Entrusted, delivered over. Okay, so he delivered over all the stops to like the legate Sextus. So impedimenta, impediments, obviously, but what's a better way in this context? Impedimenta. Okay, the baggage. Okay. So he gave all the baggage to the legate Sextus. Sextus gathered together the baggage on the highest hill. The battle was proilium erat, heavy and fierce, but the enemies were not equal to the Romans. So equal to your data, pares Romanis. Some died, some were captured. Alii here being used in this expression, some and others. Among the captives, apud captivos, were the mother and sister of the king. Few of the Romans were injured by the enemy. After the battle, the favorable battle, secundum proilium. The favorable battle was pleasing to the Romans, so secundum can mean following, favorable, or according to. Okay, but here the favorable battle was pleasing to the Romans. Fortune always favors the strong. There we go. And here's the Aquila Regionis. All right, let's do the fourth declension real quick. Yeah, I guess we should. But then we have to get into the locative case. I don't know how we feel about that. But then we could read about Daedalus and Icarus. All right, we're gonna do the fourth declension. So again, just a simple declension of nouns, nothing crazy about it here. Masculine nouns end in us in the nominative, neuters in u. The genitive ends in us, so that's how you recognize which declension it is and also which base it is to form from the other words because of the us. So don't confuse the masculine second declension with the fourth declension. Always look to that genitive. There are a couple feminine nouns, manus, manus, hand, domus, domus, house, which is irregular, and we'll talk about in the next section. The you declension is great in the neuter because it's just you in the singular. Ooh, oos, ooh, ooh, ooh. Ooh, oos, ooh, ooh, ooh. That is the neuter singular. They didn't even try. For masculine, feminine, us, oos, ooey, ooh. So everything's got the U. Otherwise, you'll notice some of the similarities, the I in the dative, the M in the accusative, the straight vowel in the ablative, and then in the plural, a UM in the genitive, and the ibis again, the long vowel S in the accusative plural. Very, very similar in pattern to the other declensions. So all together in the masculine, that's us, us, ooey, ooh, us, ibis, us, ibis. And the neuter, us, ooh, ooah, ibis, ooah, ibis. So again, that A and the nominative accusative plural for neuter. It's fine. It's not hard. I guess there's a couple irregulars in the dative adverbial plural where they're ubis instead of ibis. Okay, cornu is the only neuter that is in common use. Cool. There's really nothing of interest there. All right, but expressions of place in domus, that's important. Romani eunt domus. Okay. We know how to give places with prepositions, right? You go in to something, you go towards something, odd plus accusative, you are in something with the ablative, you go from something with the ablative. Those are what those three expressions are. Now we're just giving them fancy names. So, from these expressions, we may deduce the following rules. Accusative of the place to. The place to which is expressed by ad or in with the accusative. It answers whither. Whither. Ad opidum. In where what did we see earlier in urbem? Accusative place towards which. Okay. There's also ablative of the place from which. The place from which is expressed by a or ab, de, x or a, with the ablative of separation. It answers whence. From where? Ab opido, ab urbe. Place from where. Okay. The third location term is ablative of the place at or in. I just called the ablative of the place where something is. The place at or in which is expressed by the ablative in. This answers the question where. Where is Galba? Galba lives in the city. The ablative denoting the place where is also called the locative ablative. Ho ho ho! And that's where we're going to get the exceptions here. We've mostly been focusing on 5 cases. Nominative, genitive, dative, accusative, ablative. We know that there's a 6th vocative, which almost always looks the same as the nominative. We don't really focus on it. There used to be its own case called the locative. As the locative died, prepositions took its place. The ablative of place where, accusative of place to which. Well, okay. The locative is taken over by the ablative of place where. The accusative of place to which, accusative of motion towards, that was probably a separate case. But in either way, we've got lots of exceptions here. So let's just read through it together. So, the names of cities, towns, small islands. And then words, domus meaning home, rus meaning country, humus meaning ground, omit the prepositions in expressions of place. Okay, so Galba properat Atenas. Galba hastens to Athens. Athenanis, from Athens. So they do not take a preposition. Otherwise, they're the same, kind of. In terms of ablative where and accusative, ablative from where, and accusative towards. They just omit the preposition. That's not too bad, right? Names of cities, towns, small islands, and the nouns domus, rus, and hummus. Names of countries do not come under these exceptions. Use your prepositions. All right. Now, the locative case. Okay. When you want to say something is in or on something, it is expressed by the locative ablative. So you might just have an ablative, you might have in plus the ablative. However, Latin originally expressed this relation by a separate form known as the locative case. This case has been everywhere merged in the ablative except in the singular number of the first and second declensions. The form of the locative in these declensions is like the genitive singular, and its use is limited to the names of cities, towns, and small islands, domus, rus, and hummus. So, to express the place in which, with names of cities, towns, and small islands, if they are singular, of the first and second declension, use the locative, which looks like the genitive. So, Galba habitat Romae. That looks like the genitive, but it's in fact the locative. Galba lives at Rome. Galba habitat Corinthi. Galba lives at Corinth. Looks like the genitive is the locative. Galba habitat Domi. Galba lives at home. It's a weird word. We haven't talked about it yet. This is what it looks like. I like this note. Small islands are classed with towns because they generally have but one town, and the name of the town is the same as the name of the island. Use your judgment on what makes a small island. If you're composing, err on the side of using a preposition. People will know what you mean, even if it's not correct. When you get stuck back in ancient Rome. Crete is a large island. Rhodes, small. Lesbos, small. Sicily, probably big. All right. So Galba habitat Athenis, Galba habitat Pompeiis. They look just like the ablative because the locative looks like the ablative. He's trying to make it, I guess, more simpler, saying they have no locative case as the nominatives are plural, and there's no plural locative case form, so you just use the ablative. All right. The word domus has forms of both the second and the fourth declension. That's why it's domi in the locative. Learn its declension. Oh, they just send you to a footnote. They don't teach you. Domus, domi, domo, domum, domo, domus. It's irregular. The word for house is just super irregular. Let's read about Daedalus and Icarus, and then we'll end for the day. Oh, and then we can do the fifth declension, which is the last declension next time, and the ablative of time. So anyway, Creta est insula antiqua quae aqua alta magni maris pulsatur. Ibi olim minus erat rex, ad eum venet Daedalus, qui ex Graeciae patriae fugebat. Eum minus rex Benignus verbis accepit. Benignus. I don't think I've ever heard that Latin word before. Et ei domicilium in Creta dedit. Quo in loco Daedalus sine cura vivebat, et regi multa et clara opera faciebat. Post tempus longum autem Daedalus patriam carum desiderare incepit. Domum properare studiebat, sed regi persuadere non potuit, et mare saevum fugam vetebat. Dun dun dun. I hope we hear more later. Anyway, so Crete is an island, an ancient island, which is struck by deep water of the Great Sea. Deep water is kind of a transferred epithet there. The sea is what's really deep, but very good. So it just means the whooshing waves. There, Ebe, once upon a time, Minos was king. Daedalus came to him. Daedalus, who was fleeing from his Greek fatherland. He killed his nephew. Well, kinda. Then his nephew turned into a quail. All right, him, Minos the king, accepted with benign words, kind words, and he gave him a little house in Crete, in which place Daedalus was living without a care, and was making many and distinguished works for the king. After a long time, however, Daedalus began to desire his dear homeland. He was hastening to return to home, or was zealous to hasten to home. So domum accusative of place to which without a preposition. But he was not able to persuade the king, and was denying flight. Oh, the savage sea, that's our subject. That's why I was getting confused. And the savage sea was denying him flight. Hey, Roz! You actually probably missed all of it because I'm actually about to wrap up. I've done a couple lessons today. I updated the calendar, but only like 2 minutes before I went live. So, there's that. Yeah, so Daedalus currently stuck on Crete. Yeah. I hope you're having a good day, though. I just was raring to go and kind of get this out of the way so that we could, I could do other things. Next week, though, we'll finish our nouns. That'll be exciting. And then we'll learn about pronouns. Those will be good. Those are useful. And we'll finish our story of Daedalus and Icarus. Nice. Well, maybe we'll even do it intensive. Yeah, thank you. So anyway, we're making really good progress. We're almost at 50. Ooh. And there's only 70 something, so we are making good progress. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for everybody who viewed this later. Let me know if you have any questions. As far as I know, I'll be on for Tuesday. It all depends generally on if work is killing me or not, the Tuesday stream. But hopefully it will be okay. Find out. Yeah, I have nothing to say. This was a short stream. But I got through the things, so I'm gonna go start some laundry.